president again and become president on January of 2025, he will conduct diplomacy. And if that diplomacy does not include sending additional billions to Ukraine, there is a theoretical argument, a predicate, if you will, for impeaching Donald Trump because they have tried to tie his hands. And the final point I'll make on
What's going on, everybody? So the Senate passed a $95+ billion spending bill for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, but mostly Ukraine. I think that's the bulk of the money. We'll look at it in a second. And the craziest thing in that bill is they're trying to put some sort of fail switch. So if Trump or somebody else gets elected that's not Biden or someone that wants to prolong that war, then they can impeach that president. It's really crazy stuff. I want to talk about how it'll probably sway my influence for this election. Although I was never going to vote for Biden, I'm just going to be clear. People will think that that was the case. I was planning on possibly sitting out just because I'm disgusted by both parties. But this is a step too far, and I want to talk about it. So God bless you guys. Dream Rare Podcast starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
I'll get into my vote later because I don't think that's the important part, but I want to show you this stuff real quick. I got some clips of Tucker talking to JD Vance, and after that, I'm not going to use Tucker's clips for a while. I know I've been using them pretty heavy because there's a lot of important stuff he's been doing, but JD Vance tweeted out a couple of days ago. I shared it on Facebook, and a lot of people shared it on Twitter. That's where he originally posted it, saying that in this new Senate bill, they're trying to basically make it impossible for a new president to end the Ukraine war or stop the funding. And I want to get into all that, but real quick first. Breaking, the Senate just pulled an all-nighter and officially passed their $95 billion foreign aid bill for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and nothing for the southern border. Final vote was 70-29 with 22 Republicans voting yes. I'm not going to read all the names, but you could look up if you're curious of which Republicans voted for that. And then JD Vance had said something afterwards. I'm just going to read that real quick. He seems like someone who's paying attention. He said, this morning, the America Last Caucus got a $61 billion aid package out of the Senate, but they paid dearly for this small win. The House won't pass this current bill. We must fix our country before devoting more resources to Ukraine. That's our message, and the fight goes on. So apparently, thank goodness, this is going to get shut down in the House. Real quick, though, I want to play 4 clips, and then I'll talk about stuff. Tucker Carlson had JD on to explain this. If they put in this bill, or even the fact that they're even trying to do this, the uniparty, as you'd call them, because it's not just Democrats, it's some Republicans too, trying to make it impossible for a president to end a war or cut the funding is just one of the most disgraceful things that I've ever seen amongst literally everything that they do every day. So I don't know how shocking this is, but they're trying to put a little fail switch or kill switch in there that says that if Trump gets elected, essentially it doesn't say him by name, but he's the guy that could possibly, ease tensions, and seems like he's more pro diplomacy in that area. I don't know that he has some 100, 200-year vendetta against Ukraine or Russia, and I'm sure he'd want to end that, or possibly. They're trying to make it impossible for him to do that and basically put in there that he'd get impeached for doing that. All right, let's play the clips.
So it's not simply a fool's errand, it's self-destruction. It's insane, it's cruel, it's abetting the killing of an entire generation of Ukrainians. This is very obvious. No honest person at this point will deny it. And yet somehow the United States Senate, which is always several years behind reality in its perceptions, just a few weeks ago, decided to send another $60 billion to the Ukrainian government, which is both corrupt and authoritarian. They've canceled elections, they banned an entire Christian denomination, and then they killed an American journalist for noting any of this. And yet, the United States Senate proposed, under Mitch McConnell, a plan to send another $60 billion to Ukraine. Well, imagine the surprise of all rational people around the world to wake up this morning and discover this could actually happen. And so with that in mind, we thought it'd be worth talking to one of the very few Republican senators who's bothered to make the counter case. And that would be JD Vance of Ohio, who joins us now from the United States. Senator, thanks so much.
All right, I'm going to play the next 2 clips because it's really important and very interesting. Without further ado, let's just play it.
And I want to say just a couple of things here, Tucker, that are extremely important to know about this legislation. Number one is that it sends $61 billion to Ukraine to fund, as you said, a hopeless war in Eastern Europe. It will decimate the Ukrainian population even more than it's already been decimated. So it's a terrible, terrible piece of legislation on the policy. The second thing I want to say, Tucker, though, is that it doesn't just fund Ukraine in 2024. And this is the most important point. It actually funds Ukraine in 25 and 26. Now, what's the problem with that? Say, for example, that we have a new president in 2025. That president would be handcuffed by the promises that we are making in law to Ukraine today.
They're trying to pass not only a spending bill to give Ukraine money today. Do I need to repeat myself? I saw one of the comments yesterday. Someone said, Anomaly repeats himself. I wish these things changed so I could talk about something else. I try to be a little unique and creative, but like, what is there to say? Our cities are falling apart. Homelessness is rising. Crime is rising. People are getting robbed everywhere. And they're going to send not only $60 billion or $50 billion, whatever it is, to Ukraine now, but put in some sort of rule that they can do it for the next couple of years. Just keep funding, and stop a future president from cutting the funding. It's unbelievable how corrupt these people are. And I know a lot of people want solutions. To me, people need to wake up. How do you wake up enough people? Untangle their brain. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of left, right, red, blue, race activism, this, blah. There's all sorts of kind of like mental traps and prisons for people. And then they get caught up in their own ego, trying to be on a team, and they don't want to admit they were wrong. There's a lot of that. Sometimes they get team blue. Sometimes they get team red. During the Bush era, they got team red real bad. During the Obama era and the Trump era, they got team blue a little bit. A lot of it. How do we get people out of this trap? Because the only reason they even support the Ukraine funding is because of the Trump and Putin propaganda for 5-6 years. You think these people, if you're from Ukraine, I say Slava Ukraine, that's fine. Like, you like Ukraine, you're from Ukraine, but these average random Democrats who are just like pro-Ukraine, they would be pro-Russia if the news told them for 6 years the opposite. If you could switch the sides and say Trump's working with Ukraine and Trump's pro-Zelensky and Trump's working with Ukraine, if the media did what they did with Trump, Russia, Putin, Bernie bros, Trump supporters, Russia, Putin lovers, if they did that same propaganda, these people would be on the other side of the war. It's not like they have some sort of moral conviction that they even know. So that's the real solution, which is easier said than done. I don't know how to do that. How do you wake enough people up to realize that it's insane to send hundreds of billions of dollars to a foreign country to allow millions of Europeans to die? Like, Ukrainians are dying, Russians are dying. As Tucker said at the beginning, I didn't play that clip. You can go to his Twitter to watch the full thing. He's just like, hundreds of that. Like, how many people are going to die? Like, for what? You think you're going to beat Russia's military with Ukraine? Maybe, but 20 years in Afghanistan says that there's a possibility that we spend $1 trillion and just hand the land back to who? Like, it's not worth it. Another clip. Here we go.
If you go back to 2019, Tucker, to try to give you a sense of why this matters. In 2019, the U.S. House impeached then President Donald Trump on the theory that they had appropriated money to Ukraine, and Donald Trump refused to send it to Ukraine. So if Trump is elected president again and become president on January of 2025, he will conduct diplomacy. And if that diplomacy does not include sending additional billions to Ukraine, there is a theoretical argument, a predicate, if you will, for impeaching Donald Trump because they have tried to tie his hands. And the final point I'll make on this, Tucker, is that the Washington Post has already said, based on leaks from inside the intel community, the purpose of this legislation is to tie a future President Trump's hands. We're not just sending billions to Ukraine in 2024. We're trying to make it impossible for the next president to conduct diplomacy on his terms. It's anti-democratic, and it will lead to endless war all over the world.
It's insane. I think that the Uniparty is taking advantage of this attention economy where nobody has an attention span. I was talking to some guys yesterday about, the food quality that we're eating. And it's like, it's not about how much you eat. What are you eating? Is anything real anymore? Does anyone notice? Does anyone care? And the answer is no. And if you keep buying it, they'll keep selling it. So we're not victims, right? Can we figure this stuff out? And it's hard. I'm not even trying to blame people because there's so much going on in my spare time. Just like everyone else, I'm trying to relax. I'm not trying to think about all the world's problems. I know I talk about them sometimes, but it's not fun. That's not healthy to do all the time. So everybody's just trying to relax. But at the same time, we don't live in the 70s. It's not Leave It to Beaver land. This is there's some really wicked things going on in this country that are not normal. Whoever's running the country, whether it's by greed or, economic incentive, which could also be a synonym for greed. And, maybe they hate us. Whatever you want to think is going on, something crazy is going on. And no one can ever talk about things that matter because it's always left, right, this, that. I was joking yesterday. I was like, if Taylor Swift talked about the food supply, then maybe something would change. But until then, no one cares. It's like Trump versus Biden, red versus blue, this versus that. And they love that. Every Democrat ad that I've seen running on YouTube, it's always like MAGA agenda, MAGA this, like left versus right. They don't even have they're like, you want abortions and you hate MAGA, right? It's all the same ad. It's this divide and conquer. How do we get people to realize that the food supply is the way it is and we just need real food and then we'll all be a little healthier? But also with this type of stuff, like this is not normal to pass a bill that says that someone can't do something in the future when it comes to defunding a war but this is what they'll do because no one pays attention. No one really has a solution. No one has a counter. And we live in an attention economy where the biggest story today will not even be remembered tomorrow. That's just the truth. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Okay, scroll, TikTok, Instagram reel, dance. Where was I again? What did Travis Kelce do? And I'm not blaming people. I'm not trying to be holier than thou here. I watched the Super Bowl too. I'm an American. What else are you going to do? Stare at the wall? I mean, some people didn't watch it. That's awesome, but I did. My bad. I'm just trying to figure out how to fix it. All right, last clip.
So the political calculation behind this seems incredibly dark. So does the humanitarian effect. I noticed that no one on Capitol Hill seems interested in finding out how many have died in this war. Reliable estimates in the area, these are not partisan, are that about 400,000 Ukrainians have died. That's about as many Americans as died in the entire Second World War over the entire duration. And it's, of course, a much smaller country. So how do Republican senators, get away with saying we're doing this on behalf of the Ukrainian people, on behalf of democracy, when it's destroying an entire generation and it's not a democracy? Like, what's the thinking here?
Well, Tucker, they bought into the propaganda that what is in the best interest of Ukraine is to prolong this war. And so Zelensky comes to Washington. He's tougher than a lot of them are. And I think they get, a little bit of excitement from that.
I don't need to play the rest of it. If you want to watch the whole thing, it's on Tucker. But I thought it was very important. Not only are they sending tens of billions of dollars overseas, but they're trying to make it basically impossible for a future president to not be able to do that. I'm going to say two things. One, this makes me want to vote for Trump more, but I also see how it makes me want to vote for Trump more, which is what they've been doing all year, which I've been talking about. For those who are either slow or just don't watch the show or are skeptical, I was never going to vote for Biden. That was never an option. I vote all Republican. It's just, I live in California. It does, like, Biden's going to win California almost definitely. And honestly, Trump has just been annoying me, not inspiring, and he's just been really corny. Like, before he said he wanted to make all foreign aids a loan, which I loved, I hadn't seen a single inspiring thing that he said in the last 3 years. Like, the dude has been like, I don't know if he's old or just like busy. I'm not really sure. On True Social, yelling at like Kayleigh McEnany or something. I'm not quite sure what his strategy is to win this election because he's not on Twitter. And anytime he hops on Twitter, he just sells like NFTs, like digital trading cards with his like, coat pocket on it or something. It's like, okay, so I'm not the target audience for that, but someone is. With that being said, I was never going to vote the other way. It's just, if my vote mattered in Pennsylvania, if my vote mattered in Florida, if I lived in Georgia, if I lived in Arizona or Nevada or anywhere where my vote actually mattered on a national scale, then I would vote for who I thought was the best. I just don't think my vote matters in California because it's that type of system. They go by the states. They give all the votes to whoever your state votes for. But I'm voting all Republican locally. Someone said, "You are douchebag." Nice, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry Parker on YouTube. U, capital R, DUCE bag. You are douchebag. You are douchebag. It's like, maybe you should go to like a kindergarten channel, bro. Like learn your ABCs and then you come back to big boy school. But anyway, it's like the audacity of these people. No, but thank you for being here, I guess. Yeah, we're so happy. Here, everybody cheer for Jerry. All right. You got the attention that he needs. Where were we? Oh yeah. But this type of stuff, it's like, okay, is Trump as good as people think he is? In my opinion, no. Did he sell out to almost everyone last time? Yes. Did he sell vaccines like they were my pillows for his pharma buddies? Absolutely. Is he shameful for that? And do I think he's evil? I do. But I do think he might cut the Ukraine funding. And I don't want to be paying for a foreign war that's killing a bunch of people that I don't even know over something that, like, how much money? Why do we have to send money? Why don't they take out a loan? Why don't they? We don't have money. Like, we're your broke friend that's secretly rich, but also in debt, but also rich. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Let's figure our own stuff out. We're so rich, yet we're so broke, yet we're in debt, yet we're the richest nation in the world, yet we have the most we have all this homelessness, yet people can't afford stuff. Let's figure it out, and then we could be the beacon of the world again. So I don't want to fund foreign wars. I think Trump probably would cut the funding. And the fact that the Uniparty is trying to put stuff in there to make it impossible makes me want to vote for him, makes me want to like him more. With that being said, I wonder two things about this situation. Is Trump the guy who will really put an end to this? Can he win? Can he put an end to the war? Can he be that guy? Can he be the hero again? Can he win me over and a lot of people over? Or is he just the character to move the Overton window, where it's like, he's the bad guy, now we have to do this, now you're going to be mad, now you're going to go to the Capitol, now we're going to arrest you, now we're going to do it again, now you're going to get mad. Now, that's what I wonder, because watching that and reading that made me be like, wow, if they're trying to make it impossible for Trump to stop the funding to Ukraine, which is something that he's very likely to do, he tangibly did cut certain plans in the Middle East. He stopped a multi-billion-dollar CIA funding operation in Syria. Look it up. After that, ISIS didn't do so well. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Trump takes credit for it, and I think that's fine that he takes credit for it, because he was president and he did do something tangible that you could say solved the problem. There were other people fighting ISIS. I'm pretty sure Russia, Iran, and probably Syria was fighting ISIS too. So once Trump cut the funding to the rebel groups, it all seemed a little easier. I don't know the dynamic. I'm not from Syria. I only know what I've researched, which is a decent amount. But, he did do stuff. He did shake hands with Kim Jong-un when they said not to. These are things that appeal to me. It's like, okay, he's getting along with all the leaders. We can't even fix San Francisco. It's not our job to fix North Korea. That's my opinion. If we're so great, go fix San Francisco. It's a shithole. If you ask me, would you rather go to San Francisco for 3 weeks or North Korea? If I could go with Dennis Rodman, I'd go to North Korea. I'd be like paranoid the whole time, but like, our own cities suck now. Our own transit sucks. Jack Posobiec shared a video from Moscow of one of their subways, and it looked like an art basel. Our subways, I took them for 5 years. I took the Metro in Los Angeles. First time I went on it, my friend got sucker punched in the face by a crackhead. No joke. First time. And I had to take that after watching my friend get sucker punched by a crackhead. 5-6 years. I was broke. I had no car, no money. I took the Metro 100 times. I had a Metro pass. I had a bus pass. It's only getting worse. So why is it our job to go run around the world when we can't even fix our own cities? Make San Francisco as good as it was 15 years ago. Make New York as good as it was 10 years ago. Make the whole country as good as it was and better than it's ever been. And then we could go tell Kim Jong-un and Putin what to do. Until then, do people not realize that our country's falling apart? It's pretty obvious in every facet of the way, but it's still a great country. I'm not trying to doom and gloom. I like America, but we could do better. So if they're really trying to stop Trump from doing that, is he that guy? Is he a corrupt guy that totally did sell us out, but is just a little more real than the others in that bunch? Clearly, he's more real to speak more truth. Before Trump, no one ever said anything interesting or meaningful. in politics. Like, it was all just fake. And then Trump came through and said a lot of real stuff. Everybody liked him, but then he hired the swamp and sold vaccines, so it didn't really matter. That's what made me wonder, like, is he real? Did he get caught? Is he controlled not because he's so sold out, even though he kind of is? Is he controlled because he just is like so egotistical and so into himself and he's so like susceptible to flattery? I have no idea. But when they made that move, I said to myself, this makes me want to like Trump more. This makes me want to run back into his arms because they're trying to stop him from stopping a war, right? But that's where I have the question. Is he that guy? Is he the good guy? Or is he just the character to move the Overton window? Because before Trump, and it's not Trump's fault too, I think it's also social media. People don't have attention span. Like, I talk to the elder generation sometimes that isn't fully stupid, like my generation. I think at the same time, though, everybody's dumb in their own ways. Like Gen Z, millennials, boomers, everyone has something that like they're extra dumb about, and then something that they're extra good about. Like, boomers are awesome in a lot of categories, like way better than the younger generation. But then in some categories, they're like way off. Like, they're so far gone that like they're actually worse than even Zoomers on certain topics. But like, everyone's got pros and cons. But when I talk to the elders, they're like, how do people not see this? But it's because we live in a social media era. People see it, but they see everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we just wake up and read the newspaper and it's like, oh, they're sending our money to Ukraine. It's like TikTok dances, this, that, this. We're like, most people are just trying to run away from politics. I'm sure the Zoomers like hate Trump and Biden. Like, they probably don't like anybody. They're just like running away from their phone. They're like, I need like real life. I need the sun, the beach, like some beautiful ladies. If you're single, if not, keep your eyes to yourself, you disgusting pig. No, I'm just kidding. But you know. Anyway, hold on. Since you guys won't laugh, let me get. If you guys won't laugh, I'll make somebody laugh. I'll be slapping my robot, like, laugh, boy. He's like, I'm sorry, I just did not find it that funny. I'm like, well, maybe it's because you haven't been updated yet and you're not the newest version. And he's like, that was really disrespectful. It's like, yeah, exactly. What do you guys think? Do you think, because seeing all that made me really like want to vote for Trump more. Are they playing me, or is he the flawed guy who will stop the funding? I'm not saying he's going to do everything. He probably won't. And he's probably going to hire idiots, and he's probably going to make a clown show. Can he win? I don't know if he can even win, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Him and Biden are just so old. I feel like if Trump was 70 years old right now, he could win this election by 10 points. He's not on Twitter. He yells on True Social into the clouds. He sells NFTs on Twitter. Maybe he signed a deal where he can't use Twitter. I don't know. If he wins, are they going to go crazy again? Are they just going to go nuts? I don't like bills that stop presidents from stopping wars. That's insane. That makes me want to. But we already know, and this is what I will admit, because I've been very critical over the last couple of years. If there's any sign of life in the Senate, it's among. Sorry, I like my lip is like. Sorry, I'm getting beat up out here. Trying to fix it up. It's pissing me off the whole damn time. Sorry about that. Unprofessional, but it is what it is. Anyway, I had like a little stupid thing on my lip, but if anybody is alive in Senate, in the House, it's Republicans that I won't even say they like Trump, but it's just like Thomas Massie, JD Vance. Matt Gaetz is okay. I don't really trust him, but you know, like these are the only people that are even remotely alive in Congress. It's not the Democrats. It's not the Mitch McConnell rhinos. So whether Trump is that guy or not, people do need to get more people that aren't totally fake into Congress, House, and Senate. If they say they're Trump supporters, then vote for them. If they're not, they're not. Like, you know, you can't kick Thomas Massie out because he doesn't like Trump enough. Like, Thomas Massie's our guy. JD Vance, he's not perfect, but he's our guy. Like, there needs to be more guys like that in Congress, and people need to start figuring out who's not that way. You know, I know they're trying, like, he's a rhino, but you got to use the word rhino as like, oh, he's a bad Republican. You can't just call everyone a rhino who likes DeSantis or doesn't like. That's where now the word almost means nothing. Because like when DeSantis ran against Trump, they're like, everyone's a rhino. And it's like now the word means nothing. It's like racist. Everyone uses it too much. It's like we need more people in, like we can't have the Mitch McConnells and the Mitt Romneys and all these other scammers. I mean, I could bring it up for you guys real quick. Here's all of the losers in the Senate who voted for that blasphemous bill: Mitch McConnell, Thune, Boozman, Capito, Cassidy, Collins, Cornyn, Kramer, Crapo. His name is Crapo, guys. Why are you guys voting for guys with crap in their name? Instant kick him out for somebody with a more ethical name. Ernst, Grassley, Hoeven, Kennedy, Morin, Murkowski, Risch, Romney, Round, Sullivan, Tillis, Wicker, and Young. All of them need to go. Even Ted Cruz is a scammer. He wasn't even on there. I even like Ted Cruz more than these. Like, these guys got to go. In this economy, these people are trying to send $95 billion to foreign countries, $50 or $60 billion to Ukraine, money to Israel, Taiwan. This is unreal. These people need to be voted out. I don't even know who they are. They are they must be tricking people in like rural areas and stuff. Like, you know, like there's always like, they're like, I'm just like you, North Dakota. No, they're not. You know, I'm just like you, South Dakota. No, who are these people? I'm pretty sure one of them's from North Dakota. One of them's from South Dakota. It's unreal. Anyway, I guess the solution would be one, find better candidates, try to vote for them, but I don't know. Let me know before I go. I'm going to keep this one brief because I have a few things to do today. I appreciate you guys, but this is going to be a shorter one. Let me know what you think. Do you think Trump, we've talked about Trump's flaws a million times, right? Let's just stick to foreign policy for this video. Is Trump the guy to put the end to the Ukraine war? Is that why they hate him? And is that why they're trying to fund it right now to make sure that they could fund it even if he wins? Or is Trump the character who is just there to move the Overton window and put on a Tom and Jerry show and a cat mouse show where we're running like, don't do that, and then it doesn't matter and they do it anyway, and they use him as that character? And if he's being used as that character, do you think he's in on the plot or he has no idea? 3 questions, 3 very good questions. Let me pat myself on the back. Hey, clap if that was the greatest thing you've ever heard. Yeah. Anyway, someone said Susan Collins is still alive, allegedly. Somebody's voting. Have I tried having Jimmy Dore on the show? I've tried several times to reach out to Jimmy Dore's team. I believe I emailed them within the last couple of weeks. Would love to chat. Let them know. Someone said they haven't stopped the mail-in ballots. Listen, you guys got to stop playing the victim, okay? That like this whole brainwashy Trump, like MAGA, like victim loop you're in. Get off the victim loop, okay? Ballot harvesting is legal. They're doing the mass mail-in ballots. Figure out how the game's being played legally and have a counter to what they're doing illegally, or shut up about it, okay? Trump is tricking you into just like running in circles around like the ballots. Shut up about it. The election's coming up. Trump's in the election. It's a 50-50 election. You got to get a lot of votes. Spend your time getting votes and getting people to vote for you. Stop crying like little victim babies, okay? It's so annoying. Nobody likes it. You sound like Democrats. Everything is you're the victim of all the things that your own party's doing to you. Stop. Someone said 2 wars going on at the same time. They're raising a lot of money. Maybe when Trump claims he can end the wars, he will be able to because they are raising enough money already. It's a possibility. I mean, they've already funneled hundreds of billions of dollars to these countries, and they'll probably still do more under Trump, but he just might like switch it up a little bit. Someone said anomaly plus the sound effects machine equals comedic gold. Thank you. I gotta use it more. Cheers to that, my brother. Oh, what? Never mind. That's his chance. My bad. I thought it said cheers. It had a picture of 2 glasses clinging. Like, why would that be a chance? I got to talk to this company. That's just false advertising. Anyway, Where were we? Someone said you got to play the game if you think. I mean, Trump's running. He thinks he could win. Stop crying. Like, figure out how to win the election. It's like I'm already like seeing that they're already like it's like being in it's like going on a court at a basketball game and it just started and you're like, it's rigged. It doesn't even matter. And it's like, then why do you have a uniform on? You're like, it's rigged. I don't care. It's like, then get off the court and let me play because I think I could win. Trump thinks he could win. That's why he ran. If he didn't think he could run, he would have complained on Fox News or Newsmax. Get off the court if you don't think you could play. I don't like, the game's a little rigged, then beat it by more, If they're adding 4 points to their scoreboard, win by 20. That's what you got to do, or get off the court. Someone said Trump is the establishment's chosen guy. Well, thank you for finally answering the questions I asked. Nobody else did it. Someone said both sides go to Antarctica. Probably true. I don't think Trump will make the decisions again. He'll just appoint the swamp again. I'm just reading your points. Someone said lame duck. Trump will ruin the Second Amendment. Well, I'll say this because I don't want to drag this out too long. Although the Lord knows I love to talk to myself into a camera and convince myself that people are watching. Oh no, you guys are watching. Cool. I thought I was schizophrenic. No, just kidding. But anyway, what were we saying? Oh, obviously both parties and both candidates are not ideal. I've said it 1,000 times. At the end of the day, people need to do two things, in my opinion. You could vote. If you don't want to vote, if you're not inspired to vote, knock yourself out. But I vote locally. I think it matters. Attorney General, prosecutor. I guess that would be the Attorney General. Like I study the props. I study everything locally and I try to be involved. Nationally, I still will vote if I'm inspired. If I'm not inspired, I won't vote. So I vote. With that being said, it doesn't end with a vote. Like, it's like you can't just vote and be like, oh, I voted for Trump. It's over. It's not over. And I'm not saying to like drive yourself crazy over this stuff, but just simply voting for Trump and Republicans, like, it doesn't fix the problem. You have to vote. You can get them elected if you think they're the better candidate. Hold on 1 second. Oh my gosh. They're doing like alarms and stuff, but pay attention. Don't just like be like googly eyed over Trump. Watch what he does. Watch who he hires. And try to make sure he makes the right decisions. And if he doesn't, don't say, trust the plan. An anonymous guy on a message board told me a fairy tale that I believe because it gives my life meaning. Don't do that. Find meaning in other things. Challenge him. He's a politician. He sold vaccines harder than Bill Gates, like a shameless, like conniving pharmaceutical salesman. Why would you trust him? That's insane. Vote for him, like him. I want to vote for him now. For this topic alone and a few others. I mean, even the mandates, I know this is far gone, but like the Democrats are worse on almost every category. The problem is Republicans are either in on it or just like better on 1 out of 10 topics. It's not good enough to fix the country. It's not good enough to save America. It's never going to solve all our problems. It's never going to make our lives awesome. However, it's worth getting them in and then trying to get them to do the right thing because the other side's definitely not going to do it. Or, another strategy could be like other people just think things need to collapse and people need to wake up. Like, I don't want that to happen, but it might if people can't snap out of it. Like, at a certain point, what I don't like about the whole circus is people don't even realize, like, why can't everyone come together and be like, hey, I don't care what you eat or if you eat this or that, but like, let's try to get real food to our people. Don't you want real food? I'm making a list. I thought of it last night. I'm going to make a list of 5 things that I do to try to be a little healthier. I'm not perfect. I'm not the healthiest person in the world. I've fallen off it the last year or so, just been busy, but okay, that's just an excuse. But I figured it's like, I'm not trying to act like I'm perfect and I do everything right, but just 5 little tips that I do and probably some of you do too, just to like make my life a little better. Because when you're at the supermarket, you're not at the supermarket from the 60s. 99% of the products have things that they never should have in it. Like, I really try to avoid that. I don't do it when I eat out, but when I buy food, like, I don't buy these weird ingredients. And if everyone came together and figured that out, these ingredients wouldn't be in there. They don't have to be in there. They're in there because it's just more money. It's like the pharmaceutical ads. Everyone's making so much money off of how ignorant we are. So I don't like that about the whole politic thing. When Trump's in or whatever, no one can pay attention. It's always like constant drama. But if the uniparty is trying to stop him from ever defunding that war, it's a step too far. He's clearly at least slightly better on that topic, sort of. But his base needs to figure this out and like challenge him, not just be googly eyed, in my opinion. But that's my take. God bless you. Appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day. And I will be back tomorrow with a longer stream, possibly. I don't know. Most people like the show, but I read one comment. He's like, "Oh, I think I agree with Anomaly more than I agree with anyone else, but I can't watch his show because he just says the same thing over and over again." I'm like, do I do that? You know, part of me is like, oh, don't read the comments, but I'm like, maybe I do that. I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell because I'm just in the moment. I don't have a script. I don't have 15 guests. I don't have a producer. It's just me where, you know, it's like if I say something and like you're like, oh, that's not funny, I just press a button. Someone, you know, artificial intelligence laughter tracks, and and they're like, keep going. I'm like, okay, you know. And when people laugh like that, I was like, I could go for 3 hours if people are going to be here. So we'll see. God bless you guys. Have a good one. I'll be back soon.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the description or just type in on any browser, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying. So I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/dreamrarechat or @dreamrarechat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. DreamRareChat at Telegram. My Instagram is @DreamRare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And DreamRareLinks.com. That's DreamRareLinks.com. Has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at DreamRareLinks.com. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless you.